Happy Monday night. I'm so excited. It's Bold Moves Monday. So excited. I have two special guests that are going to hop on.
Hello, beautiful. Can you hear me? Hmm. What about now? Oh, it says you're on mute. Perfect.
Oh, I can hear
Yes.
now. Okay.
All right.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Man, it's Monday. It's a great day.
It's a bold move Monday.
Bold Move Monday.
Yeah, so I was just explaining, well, about to explain. I was really focused on trying to get you on first. Um,
hmm
but should we explain like what Bold Moves Monday is all about before we hop into bringing our guests on? Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so Bold Moves Monday will happen every other Monday. And basically it's fun. It's all topics are random. We keep it in a jar. So I have a jar, Jennifer has a
I
jar.
found my jar.
And we shake up and we pull out a topic. So today's topic is actually self-love versus arrogance. Um, and it's not a conversation to bash on anybody. It's just an adult conversation. It's just
To bring
recognizing,
awareness.
mhm, to bring awareness and recognizing self-love versus arrogancy. And that's apparently the most Google searched question. So it's it
Really?
is. It popped right up, and I was like, "Yo." Um, so just a little, so everyone knows who you are. Um, Tell them, her and we met 2 years ago at a networking event called Believe Nation, and
Yes.
we've been in touch since. So you're an
hmm
entrepreneur, you're a mom, whatever else you want them to know.
Yeah, well, thank you, Keisha, for this partnership and this opportunity. And just a little fun fact about our relationship. Keisha was the first person ever to invite me on a podcast. And now look.
Oh,
So, yeah, just a little bit about me. I'm from California. I live in Sacramento. I have three kids. I've been a single mom for quite some time now, and my kids are teenagers. So, um, I in the midst of that, I'm also in business. I have my own business. I do Mary Kay. Currently getting into real estate. So, it's just a lot going on,
hmm
and I feel like, you know and I have a podcast as well called
yeah,
Beautifully
yeah,
You. And the Beautifully You podcast came because of this journey, because I just I felt like I had been growing so much and going through so much, and it was more of like a reflection time when I thought about this. And I'm just like, you know what? Life is just a journey of becoming beautifully you.
yeah.
And so in my podcast, that's what I talk about. So there's really a lot of topics that are about personal growth, self-development, entrepreneurship, being a woman, being a single mom, things like that,
hmm
because we can all relate to all of that.
yeah.
And so, and then Keisha and I got back together.
Yes,
And
I was just
we birthed
on your podcast
Bold
like
Moves.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
hmm And
she was on there.
I was sharing with her. So that's what Bold Moves is about. Is because if you Google the meaning of bold moves, it does say courageous. It says being fearless. And then to me, that means a lot because not everybody, I don't come across a lot of people talking about self-love versus arrogance, how to make sure you're properly loving yourself, right? Versus, and those are actually two things that are kind of hard to recognize because, and we're going to have a special guest tonight. She is a former licensed therapist, but now she is like just trailblazing in being a mindset and confidence coach. So she'll kind of explain the difference and how to not let the two hinder, like, slip and join each other. She'll explain the difference the best way she can, because she said it can be tricky. But that's why I like that we birthed Bold Moves, is because just 2 weeks ago, I told you how I inboxed you and I was like, oh, let's talk about overcoming fear. And that's because for some reason I was struggling with fear. Like I had this thing of fear just stuck on me and I wasn't doing anything. I was just so, I don't know, I was just so timid and in my head. And making bold moves is me hopping on live, because in today's world, you got to put yourself out there if you want your business to grow. Put yourself out there in a positive way, but you have to get over little fears of going on live. Like I was a little nervous just to go on live and talk about what we're going to do every other Monday. But a bold move is me not allowing that to cancel and say, oh no, I have a headache, but it's really because I was scared, So I want to thank you for like being down to just talk about fear, because we got on the phone and we were like, well, how are we going to really, talk about this? But yeah, you're great.
Right. And I love that you told that story, because I mentioned to you before that the reason my podcast even started was because I was scared to get in front of the camera. And my mentor, he challenged me. He said, just hop on live.
Yeah.
Just hop on live. And I don't think I was doing it every day, but it was quite a bit.
I remember seeing you though in the beginning.
It was quite a bit. And then it was just like, I was getting over the fear slowly but surely. And the 2-minute live turned into 5 minutes, turned into 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I did a podcast with somebody for about an hour and a half.
Yes.
So, I'm glad that we're able to partner it. And I feel like you and I are in such alignment, especially with how your podcast and my podcast, they kind of go hand in hand. We talk about a lot of the same things, and we don't have the same exact goals, but they're similar. And just to be around somebody who has those similar goals and who's like-minded and who's pushing me to be better, who's pushing me to be consistent, who's like, okay, well, you help me and I'll help you.
We're balancing each other.
And it's a partnership.
Yeah.
And so, I'm super grateful. I'm super excited, especially for this guest tonight. I've heard amazing things and I can't wait to talk to her.
Yeah. I don't know if she is, I can't really see my chat. I don't want to exit you out accidentally. Let me tap. I hope this does not like end it. I'm just going to tap on this. So it's not doing anything for me. I don't know. I'm just tapping the screen.
See if I can. Let me see if I can invite her on.
Oops. What? Nope. The wrong thing. Sorry.
Let me see if I. All right, guys. This trial and error, okay? Trial and error.
Let me try on my end again, because I did. Oh, yeah, I sent it. I just don't know what's going on. Yeah, mine say it's sent. It's just.
Is she on?
Hey, Melody.
I don't see her.
Okay, let's see. I sent an invite.
Sorry, guys. guys just bear with us because we are trying to figure some stuff out right now. This is what you call failing forward.
Yes.
We're gonna figure it out though. We're gonna
I'm gonna
figure it out.
send an invite again. Oh yeah, mine is stuck on sent.
Huh. And mine won't even let me find her. Let me try again. Hmm. No. Hmm.
Let me see if. Nope. Okay. Yeah, it's like stuck on. Hmm.
Yeah, her name's not coming up for me.
Yeah. And I did send it, and it's just stuck on. Unless we end this and then hop back on.
We're trying to bring Karina on, but I don't even think that she's on the live. In order to bring her on, she has to be watching.
Yeah. I mean, what if she could be having technical issues on her end?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, there she
There she
is.
is. Okay, so it says waiting. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna bring her on right now. Oops. Oh, can you do it? For some reason it's not. Okay, you know what? So she should be coming on right now.
Okay.
There she is. Finally.
Oh my gosh, we
Hello.
did
Hi
it.
there.
How are you?
I'm
Hi.
doing good, just surviving, trying to stay awake here.
Right?
It's past my bedtime.
Look, I'm usually sleep by like 9 right now.
Oh, look, guys, I appreciate
Yes,
you.
no, and
Yes,
I
thank you so
appreciate
much.
I appreciate you ladies. Like, I'm like, God is good. Like, it all worked out in my favor to just trying to put myself out there more and just doing shit that scares me.
Yeah,
We
that's
were just talking
awesome.
about what being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Bold moves.
Exactly, bold moves. So if you don't mind just, telling us just a little bit about you. We kind of already explained what, bold moves is, and they have an idea of who you are, but if you want to give us a little background of your story, why a mindset and confidence coach?
Yes, yes. So, hello everyone who's here. My name is Karina. I'm a confidence and mindset coach and a former mental health therapist. So, why did I choose to be a confidence and mindset coach? It all went back to my story starting at age 16. I used to struggle with terrible depression and anxiety, low self-esteem, you name it. I felt hopeless, worthless, etc. I would choose the wrong friendships, the wrong crowds, the shitty men. I'm just being blunt, lady. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what it is. Didn't I didn't have self-worth. I had low self-worth. So years went by. I lived this way for years, and until 2020, I started my healing journey. Started the healing journey with why do I have low self-esteem? Why do I have low self-worth? What is this stemming from? So obviously it was stemming from childhood. It was stemming from my teenage years. It was stemming from childhood trauma. So I worked on that, and as I was still a mental health therapist at the time, I was I was getting therapy while giving people therapy. Anyway, so fast forward a few years. So I worked on myself for a good 2 years in therapy. And then one day I was at work and I said, I feel like I'm being called to do something else being a therapist is not filling my bucket. I'm feeling like I'm needing a shift. I kept getting cases where young girls were lacking that, you know, self-esteem. And, you know, I just, it kept coming in and coming in. And I'm like, okay, is God or the universe gravitating me towards this? Because, you know, this is like resonating so much with me. So back in August last summer, I hired myself a life coach. And long story short, a month after working with my coach, I opened up the Confident You, my business.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was like, this is my purpose. This is my calling, you know, to empower, to help, to uplift other women and to embracing and cultivating authentically into themselves, you know? So that's a little bit about me and my story and how I opened up my business.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story. So with tonight's topic being on self-love versus arrogance, I know you and I, like when we talked, I just want, and like I said, bold moves it's that right there. What you did, that's a bold move. So congratulations to you.
No, that was
Yeah,
awesome. And thank you for your transparency. That really gave insight to your perspective. So that's
thank you
beautiful.
so much
Thank
for
you.
that. Yeah. So I guess I should hop right into the questions, and then you being that like expert, you can like navigate it how you want, kind of. But so, and I'm talking, we could speak like just plain Jane, like what is obvious to you might, like what's obvious to us might not be obvious to the next person. That's just how I see it. So one of my questions is, can you give us an example of what self-love looks like? So
okay, so what self-love looks like, this question is very interesting, because to me self-love may look a different way than what it may look like for someone else. So for me, self-love looks like is what you are filling up your bucket, you know, you validating yourself, you honoring yourself, you setting those boundaries, you doing things that really feed into your soul. That's what I think self-love is to me. And someone else may think self-love is something else, but that's what it means to me.
Okay.
So
what,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So like what would be like some examples of it?
So examples of, you know, honoring yourself and honoring your values, like living to your truest potential, like knowing your worth, doing things like, let's say someone tries to make you do something you don't want to do. Someone who unconditionally loves themselves is going to say, hold on, wait, you know, that's not part of my value system. I don't feel comfortable doing that. You know, setting those healthy boundaries, journaling, meditating, skincare routines, you name it. So those are like some things that people can do to really nourish and love themselves.
Okay, that's awesome. Did you have a question, Jen? Or
I do.
Yeah, we're trying. You know, this is the first live. So we're, you know, thank you guys for like watching. We're gonna piggyback.
So I kind of want to take it back just a little bit, and I'd like you to explain the difference between self-love and arrogance, and then also how do we recognize when our behavior is crossing the line from self-love to arrogance.
Yeah. So the difference between self-love and arrogance is, what with self-love, with someone who has self-love, or, you know, does self-love, is that, you know, they know their worth. They know, you know, they live by their values. They live by their purpose, and they empower others. They uplift others. You know, someone who truly loves themselves is not going to bring someone else down. Right. However, someone who is arrogant, they're gonna belittle you. They're going to be up here and you're going to be down here. That's the difference between self-love and arrogancy. Wow. So, you know, when it comes to someone being arrogant, you know, they're very prideful. They're very like, you know, oh, I'm the shit, you know. So that's the big difference. Wow. That's the big difference between the two. And what was the other part? Sorry.
How do we recognize when we're crossing the lines? Just because I know that sometimes some of us love ourselves so loudly,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That it tends to look like arrogance sometimes. So how do we know when we're kind of crossing those boundaries? Just because I know that you said that it's something that we do, but when we're looking about the perspective of it.
I feel like it's all internally if you really think about it, because I don't know, when I look at it is you're either one, you either love yourself unconditionally, know your worth, know your purpose, and follow those life values, or you're either arrogant, someone who belittles someone, someone who can't take advice from authority, someone who just thinks that they know it all. So I
Wow.
feel like there's really
Yeah.
no balance between the two. You either know your worth or you don't know your worth at all. You need to crave it from external validation, meaning like outside factors. You need to prove yourself when it comes to
Mhm.
arrogance. You need to prove to
Yeah.
them like,
Oh,
hey,
that's a good
like, you know.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with
Oh, that's
self-love,
cool.
you don't seek
Yeah,
validation.
you don't
Yeah.
need validation when you
You're
Mhm.
truly
not
love
proving
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, you don't need to prove yourself. Like, I don't need to prove myself on Instagram and stuff. He's like, I love myself like every fucking day. No, self-love is
Yeah.
internally, right here in your heart and your soul.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
Hmm.
That's good.
That is good.
Sorry, I'm very passionate
No,
about this
I love
stuff.
it. I
No,
love your
you're good. I
passion.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just social media and it's just interesting. So that's why we're just having this soft but bold
Yeah.
conversation. Um,
Mhm.
so my next question is, and I know this can be different, but what does self-love look like for a woman? So for a female that she might come across this this live, and guys, if you can do hashtag replay, that'd be great. So if you're catching this live after, do hashtag replay. Thank you. So for someone that might, come across this live and she doesn't know where to start, she's looking for someone like you, Karina.
Yep.
What's an example of self-love for a woman?
I feel like self-love for a woman has to be like where they could probably start is definitely journaling, really just acknowledging who they are, what do they want their self-love version of themselves to be, how does she act, like what does she look like, how does she treat other people. I feel like that'd be a good thing to like really reflect on and like in a journal prompt, just really just dumping it all out.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing women can do for self-love is really saying affirmations. I'm a big believer in affirmations. Self-love could look like prayer, connecting to God, whoever, whatever they believe in. Self-love could be so many different things for a woman. I don't know. I know for me, self-love is
Yeah.
getting my feet done, doing my skincare, getting facials,
Mm-hmm.
getting my hair done sometimes. There's just there could be an abundance of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything you want to
All
add,
right, I got a
Shannon?
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a
Yes,
question.
yes, yes.
So, in what ways can arrogance hinder personal growth and development
Ooh,
for
yeah.
anybody, for
Mm-hmm.
everybody?
Yes. That's a very, very, very powerful question.
Yeah.
I feel like it could hinder their personal growth because when it comes to someone being arrogant, they don't see that anything is wrong. They kind of have like this tunnel vision, like, hey, like it's either my way or the highway. So if you're thinking in that mentality, I like to say that fixed mindset, meaning like, they're just in this tunnel vision, they're never going to grow. They're putting themselves in a
Wow.
box, saying like, I'm better than everyone, I can do it by myself kind of thing. And they're really just keeping themselves in a place of lack, keeping themselves small down here, when in reality they're the people that need the most work.
Wow.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. Whenever there's that arrogance about you, it's a closed mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you always have to be right, and there's no room for growth because you're already the best.
So you guys,
Exactly.
you guys would
100%.
say, so arrogancy is like they cap themselves. Like
Mhm.
the jar isn't
Oh
open,
yeah.
you know, it's not overflowing. It's just they put a lid on it.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
Because you can't get
so
any better than
you
them.
always want to stay lidless.
Right. There's no, it's such a closed mind, I think. When you're arrogant, it's just like, it's my way, I'm right, you're wrong, and this is how it is. And I don't need your help because I already know it all.
Yep.
And when you do that, there's no room for growth in that.
So when
Not
we're
at all.
starting to feel prideful and feeling like we know everything, we need to check
Yep.
ourselves and always
Yep,
be
yep.
open to learn, you know?
Check the ego.
Yeah.
Wow.
Check the ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then what does self-love look like for a man? You know, there's this guy, you know, he's been going through some stuff, feeling a little lost. He comes across this live and he gets to thinking, so what does self-love look like for a man? I know we're women, but just
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah.
example, just to get them started.
That's a very interesting question, as I predominantly work with just women, but I would say for a man, maybe doing meditation in the morning. I know some men like doing that. And then also maybe prioritizing the gym. I know my husband, for example, like he goes to the gym to really like nourish his mental health and fill his bucket. So those are like some kind of things that I think men would consider self-love.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it helped somebody.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of people who are on this journey, and I've worked with men as well, and the things that I see them do are a lot of the same things that women do.
they really
I know men
are.
who do yoga.
Yes.
I know men who are always in the gym. I know men who pray consistently,
Yes.
like all day
Yeah.
long. And you know, that some of them even journal. I know somebody he's a
Journaling
life coach,
is my
he's a
jam.
business coach. Every single day he showed me his journal. He's just like, these are my love letters to God, and that
Yes.
inspired me
Yes.
to be consistent in that. And these are things that I've been getting from men. So, you know, I think that men know how to show themselves love. They just kind of have to give themselves permission to do so. It's not a weak thing to love yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a necessity.
It is. Yeah.
So listen up, men.
Yeah.
Go
I
out there and love
feel
you.
like, you know, but you know, the world try to make it seem like they're just macho and masculine and like they don't have these
Oh,
feelings.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
But honestly, I like it. You know, the journaling and the expressing himself and just
Yes.
the softness of a man, like especially if he's always like masculine naturally, just his softness is actually a safe space for me, you know, because now I know I could be vulnerable and soft around him, you know, because we're always forever working on our self-love. We're always making sure that we're not getting caught up in like social media and then, you know, trying to keep up with this person, and now we're just forgetting about our true selves. You know, I think self-love for me is also staying authentic, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone is,
And then someone
Kelly
left a comment.
Boyd
I know, I was
Jones,
trying to read that right
Orlando.
now.
Thanks for watching.
All right, I'll read it.
Yeah.
It says he's open-minded to change, accepts responsibility, takes the time to love himself by getting fit, grooming himself, going to counseling, etc.
Yeah.
Oh man, absolutely.
Yeah.
Spot on. That's it.
Exactly.
Thank you for the
Yeah,
input.
thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
So
I'll go to
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to say anything else after that.
No, that's it.
Okay. So talking to the audience, or, you know, maybe somebody who's, like you said, who's coming across this live and they just kind of don't know, like they're in the process. And I know that you kind of said this a little bit, but if they're struggling to find balance between self-love and arrogance, how would they do that? Because let me explain that a little bit further. When people are growing, when they're trying to go from arrogance to self-love, when they realize that there's a problem, then how do they kind of balance that? Like, how do they catch themselves, and how do they make it a habit to be more open and self-loving rather than arrogant and self-destructive during this process. Does that make sense?
I'll try to answer this the best as possible. Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay.
I would say they would have to start with, one, acknowledging that they are arrogant. Two, if they are arrogant, acknowledging what thoughts are going on right here in their mind. What is the story they are telling themselves? Are they telling themselves like, oh, I need to prove myself, I need to prove myself, I need to prove myself? Or are they telling themselves like, oh, I'm better than everyone else? Like, what is the negative thought? What is the negative story they keep replaying in their head, which is making them act that way? And once they find that out, I want them to just write it down in a journal, write it down in a pen and paper, whatever the case may be, because once you find out the root cause, which is that thought, you learn how to really grow from this thought. You learn how you can flip the script, meaning flipping that negative story you're telling yourself into something positive. So how can I change for the better? What can I do to start showing myself more self-compassion, self-love? Really just digging deep and doing that inner mindset work. That's what's going to help them on this self-love journey.
So like for instance, then somebody wakes up on the wrong side of the bed, right? They catch themselves in that moment. It's like how you start your day is how your day will eventually end up. So make sure that, if you are on this journey, how you wake up. When you wake up, are you thinking good thoughts? Are you grateful for the day? Because we want to make sure that we started off on a positive.
Gratitude goes a long
catching
way.
yourself in those moments.
Gratitude, 100%. That's number one. That's how I always start my day, showing off gratitude, taking that journal, writing down like 10 things I'm grateful for in the morning. That's a wonderful way to just really wake up and start your day, to really center yourself.
Yes. So try that first thing in the morning when you wake up.
Yeah.
So with the writing the 10 things you're grateful for, it can't be the same thing, right? You have to write 10 different things every day, or how do you do it just to help somebody?
To me, you can write the same things every day. Sometimes you'll find new things and you can change it whatever you feel the most comfortable with. There's no right or wrong way of doing it.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
My gratitude goes along with my prayer. When I wake up in the morning, my gratitude is mixed in with my prayer. So it's like it goes, kind of, I don't even know how many things. I just keep going and going, and it's such an emotional experience.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Your
like
heart.
I really, really, yes. And it's like not every day. I don't cry every single day, but but it gets to that point where I have such this gratitude that's just in my heart in the morning.
I say the heart
when I'm praying
and
I'm just putting it all out there. Yes. And it's just really aligning myself. And sometimes, man, it's so deep in that gratitude, man. It's just like, even for the smallest things, the simplest things, like, man, I'm so grateful that I got a fan that works, because it is about to be super hot.
So I was thinking to myself, I was like, the other day, I don't know if I was tripping or not, but I looked at the fridge and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, I wonder back then, I don't know if they had an electric box that keeps my food cool and stuff. So like little things like that, because I was journaling, and when I start to journal, sometimes I get like in my feelings. So, and I reflect, reach out to some folks. I either, it's either an apology or kind of like a confrontation that ends up being an apology, but it's a way of healing. So yeah. Self-love also for me is like a form of still making sure that I've healed from some things, because journaling, when I'm journaling, something might uproot, and then I'm just like, let me see if I can still figure this out,
Yeah.
Do you recommend a person do their I know it says self-love, but your self-love journey really isn't alone. You're not, it's like you're not alone when you're self-love. Like, people reach out to you because they need you to help them, so they're not by themselves, but they're just practicing it alone. So would you recommend a person to keep practicing these things by themselves, or you do recommend like seeking a coach or a mental therapist or something?
Yes, yes. I would recommend 100%, whether if you feel like you need it's more long term, like let's say like you have hardcore like trauma therapy, 100%. But if you feel like yours is not intensive like that and you feel more comfortable like dealing with more of a holistic approach, definitely coaching, because that's the coaching world. We're more like the holistic approach on healing. So yeah, I would definitely recommend a coach. Or a therapist, whatever you're comfortable with, because once you have that extra support and extra, guidance to help shift you in that right direction, you will get there 10 times faster.
Yeah. I was going to add to that too. I think that in this journey, what I've personally turned to, I've done therapy, which really, really was the start of my journey. And once I got into business, I got a mentor.
Mhm.
And because of that mentor, I mean, just being able to challenge me and me seeing the person who I want to be more like, I'm able to follow that person's footsteps and just, when I'm having a hard day or when I just don't know what to do, I know that I can call them and they'll be on the phone like, okay, well, first of all, check yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah. As coaches,
You know?
as coaches, we are like that. We call shit out. That's just how it is. And then with therapy, they tell them, oh, well, this is what you should do. And in coaching, we don't sugarcoat shit. That's just the reality to it. We call out what we
And
see.
I can appreciate that, boy. Let me tell you, because the first time I got called out, I was like, excuse me.
I know, right? Trust me, I've been called out
like,
too.
oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But, and he didn't mean to, but after the conversation, I just kind of felt like this. And I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
all right, fine. You're right.
Yeah.
Let me fix my attitude. I felt like one of my kids.
He put you in check.
So he did, but you know what? And I'm grateful. I'm grateful because it just, at the time, sometimes it doesn't seem like it because it's really a battle against yourself. It's a battle in your own mind, whether you're going to be this way or that way. And we're humans. So we are creatures of habit. We don't want to change. We want to stay this way, especially if there's some type of arrogance in that too. It's just
So
like,
that's where it comes from. That's the arrogancy.
Yeah.
Our brain wants to keep us in the comfort zone.
Yeah. So a mentor, a therapist, a coach, whoever you can, just somebody that will lead you in the right direction that you want to go.
So what kind of coach would you recommend? Like I do have a mental therapist. And it's just because I have a coach to help me in certain things that I got going, and then I do have a mental therapist. So my mental therapist is Christian based. What do you recommend a person look for when trying to find a coach or a mental therapist? Like for me, she needed to have some form of belief system. We needed to share the same beliefs, which we do. So what would you recommend they look for in a coach when deciding to hire one?
Okay, so when it comes to a coach, I would definitely say, like, if they're trying to do their self-love journey, any kind of, I guess, self-love coach, confidence coach, self-worth coach, there's so many out there, like any kind of coach in that niche to help them get them on the right path. And as for therapists, do your research, because there are so many therapists out there, and they'll say they have X, Y, and Z experience. And in my personal experience, I saw 3 different mental health therapists just because the first one just didn't align with what I needed. So even if that person doesn't, even if you don't feel like that connection with your therapist, don't feel discouraged to change it, because you could always change it. Same thing as a coach. If you feel like you and your coach are not aligned with the same values, or just like you're not feeling the vibe, go find someone else.
So I'm glad you said that. So it's okay to not force themselves to stay. Like if they don't feel connected, they should like leave.
Yeah. And that's why, like in my business, I always offer free breakthrough calls. Like the first call is always free, because I like to get people's energy to see if we even clash. And that's how I pick and choose my clients. Because if we're not on the same level, if we're not vibrating on the same frequency, then I'm just like, all right, well, good luck. That's all. I don't think I can help you, kind of thing, X, Y, and Z. But maybe this person can help you. I could like recommend them to someone else.
I see. So at that point, would you be referring them to a mental therapist, or you just like,
no,
you're not a fit for each other?
I would, like, if I know a coach that could probably help him or her, then I would recommend them a coach, because right now I don't.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know any mental health therapists right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because when you're choosing like a therapist, it's like you're choosing a new friend almost.
Yeah,
it's like you
Yeah.
have to be able
to connect. You're going to be telling this person everything.
Talking to this person, right? Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. That's really
It took
good. So
it took a
make
while.
sure that make sure the vibe is right. Make sure the vibe is right. I remember I was going through therapy with my ex, and we had to change therapist a couple times. Turns out it wasn't the therapist, it was him, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, no, don't be afraid to switch it up. Make sure that the vibe is right and that you have somebody that you can follow, someone who you trust to lead you. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one. You're so funny, Jen. Did you have any other questions? Because I had a question, but did you have any questions?
Yeah, no, that was it for me. I mean, I would just want to know more about you, Karina, just like so. But we'll save that to the end.
Yeah.
And Keisha, if you have any other questions.
No, but definitely let the people that are watching and people that'll watch this later, let them know how they can contact you. I did see Melody. I believe she had a question in regards to finding a life coach. So definitely let them know how to, get in contact with you, your social media handles, all that stuff.
Yeah, so my social media handle is @theconfidentyou.coaching. So quickest way to DM me is Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram and TikTok right now. I do have a Facebook page. I don't know how to link it on here. If you could link it.
I'll drop it in the comments.
Yeah, you can pop it in the comments. But yeah, so the best way to reach me is through DMs on Instagram @theconfidentyou.coaching. I usually reply within 24 hours. So if you want to connect, let me know.
Yeah, you've been so great. Any you've given so many tips already, but any tips and tricks?
I have a lot of tips and tricks, and I also post them on my social media business pages, so check them out, whoever's watching. So what kind of tips and tricks are you looking for, or curious about?
Anything that you want to add,
to mind.
Something that you want to leave to the people.
Yeah, this is a hot spot.
Tell me something juicy.
Hey. Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier about affirmations, I think they are very powerful, and that it was a very powerful tool that I started incorporating back in, I want to say, November. Before even starting this growth journey, I never believed in affirmations. I thought they were just complete BS. But now that I'm just embodying my most authentic self, my most confident self, my most highest self and best self, I'm just affirmations freaking work. So I'm I wake up every morning saying, I love myself. I'm just all eyes are me when I walk through the room. Everything is always working out for me. Those are just some affirmations to get you guys flowing and going. But saying I'm the luckiest girl in the world, just really embodying that, amazing energy into your soul, because once you start really just embodying that, feeling the emotions in the affirmation is a must. So whoever's watching, feel the emotions in the affirmation, because if you don't, then it's not going to work. So that's my secret.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I like it.
The part is you got to believe.
You got to believe it.
You can say it 1,000 times, and if you don't believe what you're saying, your subconscious knows that, and so it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. So when you're talking to yourself, say it in a way that you believe it.
Yes.
I like it. Very interesting. I like it a lot. I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So yeah. Anything else you want to say, Jen? I'm so sorry.
No, no, you're good. I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you, Karina. I'm excited that this platform brought us
Yes.
together and you gave so much value. So I really appreciate you jumping on here and staying up.
Yes, no, anytime.
And yeah, so I can't wait till we have you again. I think that I can definitely see you on here making a
There's
some
some
impacting
people
people and just
saying
really,
they love what you
yeah.
said. You know, someone said, I love that. Feel the emotions and believe it with affirmations. Thank you. Oh, Crystal. Yeah. So look at you. Yes. Thank you. So I guess this concludes our first Bold Moves Monday. So Jen, before we, yes. So Karina, we'll let you in. I don't know if you were like on live, but so how it works here is you got lucky. So we operate from a jar.
Oh,
Mine
boy.
is an instant coffee jar. Hers is a little jar. We just randomly pull out topics and then we give ourselves a week to do the research and find wonderful people like you who make time for us.
Professionals.
Yeah.
And find professionals.
Yes. Yes. So it's Jen's
because when we
turn.
come up here, we want to do our best to make sure that we give value. That's the reason why we started doing this, is because we just want to take what we're learning and what we know and give it to everybody else. So I'm going to pick the next topic since Keisha picked the last one. All right. I'm not going to cheat.
No cheating.
Ooh, the importance of sisterhood.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
I don't know if you guys can see that.
So I love it.
So that's going to be the topic next Monday. So if you know something about
not
this
the
topic,
next Monday, the next one after, right?
Yes, the following Monday, every other Monday. So that would be on the 22nd. The 22nd.
Wow.
So if you guys know anybody, if you are somebody who you feel like you can give value on this topic, hit one of us up in our DM, me or Keisha, and we're looking for somebody who wants to be able to help. And if not, that's okay too. We got this. We just want to get everybody else's perspective too. I think that it's a beautiful thing when minds come together and these conversations happen and we're able to just give so much more value together. So
I agree.
The importance of sisterhood.
Yes. So again, if you come across this live and you're watching it after, just #replay. I will drop Karina's information in the comments and continue making bold moves, because that's what life's about, being courageous and fearless.
Yep.
All right. Well, see you girls later.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, ladies. Thank
Bye.
you.